There's a really special kind of magic that occurs when we allow ourselves just to sit down and be with a book, not trying to consume it, not trying to master it, but just letting the book change us. And it can be the great classics, it can be nonfiction, it can even be, the popular bestsellers today. It really doesn't matter. The relationship that we have to books and reading is so powerful. That's what I want to talk about in this video today. I want to talk about 5 mindful practices that have helped me turn books like these and many hundreds more into portals into new worlds, things that have fundamentally changed my life for the better. I'm Dr. Alan Johnson, and on this channel, I talk about the mind, well-being, productivity, and change for thinkers, makers, and everyone in between. And if this is the type of stuff that really interests you, I'll pop a link below to my online course in Integrative Meditation, which is all about how we bring the sense of awareness and presence and contemplation into our daily lives. But first, let's talk about these 5 new approaches to reading and how we can deepen our reading experience. The first one might sound simple, but it is profound. Breathe before you read. So what I mean by that is before you pick up that book, just pause for a moment. Just 3 breaths. Just close your eyes. Just feel your body. And this simple act of just tuning into yourself before you begin reading, every time you begin reading, begins to shift you from a behavior of consuming to a behavior of receiving. And that's the state that we want to be in when we are approaching books. It invites us into what the great theologian Parker Palmer calls the hidden wholeness, that place where our true attention begins. So every time we sit down to read, think of it like entering into this sort of sacred, ordinary moment. Because reading, after all, isn't just about information gathering. Reading is a ritual of change and enjoyment and care. The second tip I want you to take away from this video is let the book read you. Now, this sounds really counterintuitive, doesn't it? When we pick up a book, we obviously are reading it. We are interpreting the words on the page. But one of the most transformative shifts in my reading life was precisely this. I stopped trying to extract meaning from books and instead let them reveal something about me. So, as you're reading, ask yourself, what part of me is responding to this passage? Ask yourself, what part of me is resisting? Ask yourself, who am I becoming as I read this? And again, this works for, the great classics. It works for contemporary fiction. It works for nonfiction. These types of reflective questions allow us to come into a very different relationship with the book. Rather than consuming it, we are receiving something from it. We are beginning to recognize and understand how it is transforming us. This is really the work of living wisdom, of using texts as this type of mirror to ourselves. So as we're reading, we're not just learning what the author has to say, which is important, of course, but we're also learning about ourselves. So the third tip I have then is what I call the marginal whisper. This is annotating, underlining, writing notes in your books. I still prefer to do most of my reading in, good old hard copy books like this. I do some reading on a tablet, and sometimes when I'm out and about or on a train, I'll be reading on my phone because it's all I have with me. But more often than not, I still really enjoy being able to write in the margins. And of course, you can do this on tablets and phones as well now. But you don't have to underline absolutely everything. And I think a lot of people get a little bit panicked then about, well, what do I underline? What do I annotate? What notes do I write? And in fact, I have a whole other video just on that. But what I want to point out today is that scribbling down those questions, drawing a little smiley face by something that you like, reflecting on a feeling or a half-formed thought that you have while reading. This is all part of that immersive process. You are beginning a relationship with that book by committing your note, your underline, your asterisk, maybe your sad face or your angry face, depending on how the book is speaking to you that day. That is opening up a relationship between you and that book. And that relationship might just last the length of time that it takes you to read that book. But there are going to be other books that you come across, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, that you will return to over and over again in your life. And like the old Zen saying goes, you can never step into the same river twice. You can never read the same book twice. Because when you come back to that work the next time, not only have you changed, but all of those notes and marginal comments that you have made offer a reminder of who you were the first time that you read it. The fourth tip here is to just savor one sentence. Okay, this sounds really counterproductive because we want to read, we want to enjoy reading, we want to, be able to absorb and learn from so many different authors. There's been thousands of years of writing, and we're never going to be able to read all of it in our lifetime. So we have a tendency to try to rush, try to skip ahead. There's something that's really powerful in just at some point in our reading, just stopping and just picking one sentence that really connects with you and just reading it again and again and reading it out loud. And as you're really allowing that one sentence to settle into your body and into your consciousness, you can begin to be aware of where it lands within you, where it might create a sense of tightness in your body or a sense of softening in your body or perhaps a spark of recognition. So moving beyond simply the linear language of the text, moving beyond simply the beauty of the text or the ideas of the text, and beginning to absorb just in that moment, just with that one sentence, how it makes you feel. This is big, and it really can change your relationship to books and to reading. And the final tip I have for you is to end with silence. So when you finish a reading session, don't just rush away. Don't just turn off the bedside lamp and fall asleep. Instead, just for a few seconds, close the book and just sit with it. Just let those words linger for a few moments. Just allow yourself to be silent and to see what emerges for you. Because that silence is not an emptiness. That silence, well, it creates a sense of ripening of what we've just read, of what we've just understood, and what we have just attempted to embody. And it's in that moment, that brief moment of pause and silence and reflection after we finish reading, that real integration begins to happen. And that's the whole point of reading. The whole point of reading isn't just to read the bestsellers or read that new thriller or read all the business books to get some good tips and ideas from them. We read to come into relationship with language and words and ideas and history and people in different way. So we need to honor that. And sometimes just that brief reflective moment after we've spent 10 minutes reading or an hour reading enables us to bring that book into our inner world. These practices are not rules. I'm not about rules. I'm all about invitations because I have found these 5 practices to be profoundly transformative in my own lifelong relationship to reading. And I speak about books and literature and reading a lot on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do. And through all of this thinking around the books that I have read in the past, the ideas that have changed me, I've really focused on the relationship that I have built with the books themselves. Because mindful reading is not about how many books you finish. It is about how deeply you finish them and really how those books finish you. So if this stuff resonates with you, my link below takes you to my online course where we go into contemplative practice in a lot more detail. And if this video is something that might resonate with one of your friends or someone in your book club, or you're thinking about starting a book club, send it on to them. Let's bring a new quality of joy and pleasure to the act of reading, whether it is solitary reading or communal reading, because I have seen firsthand in my own life and in the people that I teach and the book clubs I'm a part of that reading really does transform our life for the better, without a doubt. I'll see you next time.